Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare, sometimes self-care, and today we're talking October favorites. The video where I share with you all the skincare and beauty products that made a big impression on me this month. So if you're so ready to jump right into the faves, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. So let's kick it off with the Abib Rice Probiotics Overnight Mask. So it is sleeping mask season, baby. October is the first time where we've had a true block of cooler temperatures. The heat is on and my skin is feeling it for sure. My combination skin in the summer feels a little bit more oily. In the winter goes very dry. And so I'm starting to feel that occurring right now. The inside is feeling a little bit more dry. It's a little cooler outside. I'm waking up feeling a little dry and tight. And so I was like, all right, it's time for a mask. But I have to say, I can feel my skin going dry, but if I go too rich and too nourishing too quickly, it's just that in-between time right now, I actually start to get whiteheads, especially around my nose. It's actually just a little too rich for me right now. So I'm like, okay, I'm not ready for my heavy creams just yet. I'm not ready for a full-blown CeraVe healing ointment all over my face before I go to bed. I need something in between. And that's exactly what this Abib mask is. It is something in between. On the jar, it actually says it's a barrier jelly, and that's exactly what the texture is. It is a jelly texture. It is like this medium weight gel texture that actually feels really refreshing and hydrating. I could definitely see myself using this in the summertime, but right now it feels so good, so refreshing. Feeling a little bit of dehydration lately, so this jelly just really soothes, refreshes, cools my skin, but it's not like the type of gel that just disappears. It's not thin. It actually has more of a medium kind of heftiness to it, a jelly, a barrier jelly. And it just feels really, really good and very protective, medium weight on the skin. I have to say, it does take a hot second to dry. I've been keeping this on my bedside, and I'll put it on when I'm in bed, and I'm like, okay, cannot lay down until this jelly dries on my skin. It takes about a good 10 minutes. If you lay down before then, your cheek will definitely stick to the pillow. So I do, it's not perfect, but I have to say this texture, it's so fun. It's so bouncy. It's so refreshing. It's so hydrating, but it's very protective. And it's exactly what my skin is craving. There's not really a lot of moisture here. There's a touch, it's balancing for sure. But there's not a richness. There's not an oil feel to this. It's not creamy. It's not overwhelming to my pores. So I'm not waking up with whiteheads because I overdid it on the emollients and the occlusiveness, right? But it's just enough that's helping to hug the hydration and all the rest of my skincare layers to my skin to keep them in place while I'm sleeping, to resist that dry air that's starting to accumulate in my house from the heating. It's just that really perfect in-between mask. So next, let's talk about the Peach and Lily Copper Peptide Pro Firming Serum. Now, you've been hearing about it a lot from me this month because I've been really obsessed with it. Ever since I opened it, I have been using this non-stop. It is so good. I haven't quite used half, but I'm really close so far to having used half of the bottle. I am loving the results that I'm getting with this so far. So 0.2% of copper peptide, and my little annoying I don't know kind of sarcastic kind of voice in my head about this was I don't know, 0.2%, is that quite enough? They are also using Cerapeptide 1, which I always like to see in combination with copper peptide because it is not only a collagen stimulating peptide, but it's also a carrier peptide for copper peptide. So these two ingredients work synergistically together. The tripeptide helps to deliver the copper peptide deeper into the skin to help it become more effective. So even though it's 0.2% of copper peptide, I find that tripeptide kind of boosts up the abilities of the overall copper peptide in this mix. All that is to say, don't write it off just because of that percentage. The formulation here is working synergistically, and I really think that's why I've seen such amazing results with this so quickly. Really within 2 weeks probably, I was wow, my skin looks so healthy. It just looks so vibrant, so radiant, so good. And the only thing I've changed in my routine is this. I've been pretty boring with my products. I've just been kind of using the same rotation of stuff. Not a lot new to report. I haven't really been in any testing phases with anything just yet. I've been just kind of trying to like be kind to my skin as I'm transitioning into the cooler temperatures. And like I said, kind of struggling with some dehydration, but no brightening products have been added. I'm using my same old tretinoin and that's about it. But I just felt like my skin just had this like perk up to it that I've really been enjoying. This is really watery, but there's an elegance to it. It has a kiss of hydration to it, a little bit of balance, but it's just really easy to use with any other products that I want to use. And I've been going back and forth between like snail essence. I've been using the Torridon solid in ceramide essence a lot. These are kind of bulkier, moisturizing gel kind of textures. I've been using Laneige cream skin refiner too, which can sometimes not play well with certain textures. This works with everything. That's another reason why I'm reaching for it a lot, because it's just easy and I like easy skincare. So great texture. I think it'll work for any skin type, truly. Great ingredients list, checks out. Results, check out. Now, speaking of Laneige Cream Skin Refiner, you might be surprised by this pick. I definitely was. It is Laneige Cream Skin Cerapeptide Toner and Moisturizer. Oh yeah. This product I have such complicated feelings on. Now, I did do a dedicated review a couple of months ago to this product, so definitely check that out if you're not in the loop about what's going on with Laneige Cream Skin Refiner. This product came out in Korea a couple of years ago. It was recently introduced to the North American and I believe the European market in the last not quite year, I think, but it does seem to be heading in the direction of a replacement for the original cream skin formula. At Sephora, select Sephora stores still seem to have stock of cream skin mist. That is the original formula. That's that really rich original cream skin refiner. You can find that physically in some Sephora stores, but it's not actually being sold, the original formula, in the toner bottle or in the misting format. It's not being sold at Laneige USA site anymore. I have a feeling they're just not going to be selling it. The richness of that formula, it was hard to compare that to anything else. And so to not be able to access that anymore is a disappointment. So as I said, I have complicated feelings. But as you may have noticed, this bottle's empty. I used this, so I must have enjoyed it. It must have served some type of purpose, right? And it did. And so that's why I said it feels kind of weird to name it as a favorite, because I was like, I don't know about this product in the video. I'm really disappointed. But I said in that video, and I'll say it again, on its own, not as a comparison to the original formula, this is a nice like moisturizing toner, and it has served my skin so well. And it's really the reason for the Abib mask at the beginning of the video and why that was a favorite. This is moisturizing, it's protective, it's nourishing my skin in this in-between season, but it's not too much. It's not overwhelming my skin to the point where I'm starting to get whiteheads because I overdid it with emolliency and richness. So this new formula was just right for me right now. I will tell you, in December and January, this is probably not going to be quite enough for my skin. It's not going to be quite as moisturizing. I'm going to need to find something a little bit richer, but for right now, amazing. It has been absolutely what my skin has been craving and really helping me transition as my combination skin gets a little bit more dry. Now, there are peptides in here. I don't find them interesting. I don't find them meaningful. I don't think they did anything for me. I wouldn't get too caught up in the peptides. I was very excited when they announced this a couple of years ago, the Korean version. I was like, oh my gosh, a peptide version. But the peptides it's not really anything. I don't think it did anything. I finished the whole bottle. I don't think it did anything. I think it's just more marketing. I think it's just like capitalizing on trendy ingredients. It creates this texture that's a lot lighter than the original. It looks similar. It's still kind of that watery milk kind of texture, absorbs quickly into the skin. I love how quickly this absorbs, but inside of your skin, it really kind of like, it almost kind of expands a little bit and moisturizes. It's just not as rich. Like a real rich slip, like the original had a real richness to it. It's hard to put your finger on it, but it was so moisturizing. Again, inside of the skin. This one is lighter. It's just a lighter expression of that, but it feels so good to have something that's not like heavy in weight or in a layer on your skin. It just absorbs so quickly, but it just gives you that comforting, soothing moisture. I do want to let you know about some stuff that I mentioned briefly in the full review, but now that I've emptied it, that I have a better grasp on. this packaging sucks. It sucks. What I like is that they have appeared to create a packaging that is a little bit lighter, that is not using quite as much plastic. And I think that that's a good way forward as far as sustainability is concerned. It's also a refillable bottle, which I think is good. I'm going to keep this because I'll probably buy the refill. That being said, this cap screws. Going this way. In order to refill the bottle, they have also created a cap that screws off so that you can fill it with the refill. So this screws this way. So why am I telling you which way it's screwed? Like, why does that matter, Kelly? Why? This is so boring. Let me tell you, because when you are constantly screwing this off in the same direction as this thing screws off, this starts to loosen up on its own if you're not careful. And it is very possible that you're going to lose product. That did happen to me a little bit, I will admit. Some of this didn't make it to my face. Some of it ended up in the sink because it unscrews itself. It's such a mess. I have big issues with the packaging. I have issues with this being a potential replacement for the original. But if I take that out of the equation and just how the actual product performs on my skin, it's actually been so helpful. I've been really loving it. I'll probably miss it, but like I said, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to need something a little bit more rich and moisturizing. This isn't going to quite cut it, but for in between seasons, I'm going to get the refill for this. I think this is a solid product. I also wanted to talk about The Ordinary Caffeine Solution 5% this month because it's been so helpful. Now, this is like an eye serum. It's not a cream. The texture is like a gel serum type of texture. It feels kind of hydrating, slightly plumping. It absorbs really nicely. The texture isn't like, ooh la la, amazing gel plumping gel cream. It's not like that at all. It's really just like a thin layer of gel with some hydration to it. And so I actually bought this a while ago. I know I bought it on the Slovember sale last year. It took me a while to open it, and I know I was playing around with it in the summertime because I do like gel eye products in the summer, and it just didn't really jive with me then. It just didn't really speak to me. I didn't feel like it was doing much for me. I didn't like that the texture is kind of like, it's not inelegant, but it's not like exciting. You know what I mean? It's not like super plumping or super silky or really, I don't know. I love textures, and like this is just, The Ordinary can kind of feel kind of plain. This felt really plain, and I didn't feel like it was doing much for me. And so I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. So it's kind of been floating around, in my skincare shelf for a while. And I'll pick it up every so often. I'm like, okay, it's fine, but it hasn't been impressive. Until recently, because it's allergy season, and they really manifested in my eyes this year. I feel like I've really gotten my medication down for my sinuses and pressure and all that, but I'm still struggling with my eyes. And so my eyes have been so watery, so itchy and like gloopy, and they've been ever so slightly puffy. Like the skin around my eyes have been a little bit puffy and irritated. I'm like, oh, great. And that's when I picked up this, because I remember the caffeine is supposed to be good for puffy eyes. So I started using this and it worked. And I was like, oh, that's why this is so popular. That's why this is so good. That's why this is like a cult classic. It's so good for puffy eyes. I haven't had puffy eyes the entire time I'd been using it until now. And so it really did take down the puff and like that red. There's like ever so slight like redness, like just beneath the surface, it feels like. It really helped to make my eyes look less allergic. They still feel allergic. They're still gloopy, but they don't look it. And so this has been really, really helpful. So usually how I use this is I'll put a layer of this, I'll add it around my eyes, and I'll just kind of like step back for a minute and kind of let it sink in. It does take a minute to kind of sink in. It's got good absorbency. It's not sticky, but it can feel kind of wet for a little bit. I'll let that kind of settle into my skin, and then I'll top it off with an eye cream. And that's just purely because my skin can get kind of dry around there. I do still need that emolliency and that creaminess to really help keep that eye area moisturized and nourished. I've been struggling with some eye dryness too, I think because my eyes have been so watery, all my products getting like wiped away. So I will let that settle. I'll seal it in with another cream. But it's been so helpful. That 5% of caffeine really depuffs the area, makes it look a lot smoother, which is good. Has helped with redness and inflammation. It's supposed to be brightening too. My dark circles haven't been too dark lately, so I can't really speak to that effect. But if you do get puffy eyes, This is pretty affordable. It's pretty easy to add in because of that gel texture. Even if you don't like eye creams or gels, this is going to work for you because it's just like so unassuming in the texture, right? But if you want to add another cream on top, you absolutely could as well. Or if you want to top it off with like Vaseline or CeraVe or Aquaphor or something, you can do that as well. But just the caffeine, just that amount of caffeine, so helpful. So this was kind of a fun one because I was like, I don't like it, I don't get it, it's whatever. And then I was like, oh, actually it's a very specific purpose in my experience, a very specific purpose, and for that purpose it works so well. So maybe you're struggling with this in between season too. Maybe your products aren't hitting quite the way that they used to as the season transitions and your skin is transitioning as well. And maybe you want to get some clarity on your skincare products or your routine. I want to let you know I do offer one-on-one skincare consults. I have a couple of different levels. The introductory level is product picks. So maybe you're just looking for a new serum or maybe a new active to add into your routine to help address your skincare goals. I do also offer like a middle consult, which is kind of like a routine refresh. I'll take your entire routine that you're using now and I'll offer some suggestions on things that might help improve it, giving you some tips and hints and some product recommendations to build out a more effective routine. And then I do have a higher level consult that does include a video call where I can really, get to know you, get to know your skin, understand where your pain points are with your routine, and really kind of help build that more effective routine that is going to be more mindful, that is going to have a lot more intent to really help you achieve your goals in your entire skincare routine. So if you're interested, I do have a link in the description box below. You can check it out, see if it's right for you. So October has definitely been that transitional month. As I've mentioned throughout the entire video, it's like my skin, it's like in this in-between place. I know I'm transitioning, my skin type is changing for sure. I'm feeling that change. I'm feeling that pull, right? And I can see it right outside my window, right? We see the change. The leaves are starting to fall off of the trees. The temperatures are getting colder. The sun is setting sooner. It's definitely that transitional change and different season, right? I definitely do believe that we fluctuate with said seasons. And maybe it isn't like a physical season that's happening outside your window. Maybe you live in a place where there's not as many seasons or as many changes, right? But there is still like a seasonal change throughout the year. You know what I'm saying? And I always feel that because, fall is always that harvest time, right? We're reaping all of the rewards from all the hard work that we did in the spring and the summer, the planting, the nurturing, the growing, right? Now we're harvesting it and we're celebrating that harvest, but we're also taking some of that harvest and we're setting it aside for that long, cold winter, that hibernation period, right? Where things go dormant for a little bit. And so I guess the point of the wrap up this month is to let yourself slow down, allow yourself to be kind and gentle with yourself in this moment of transition, this in-between time. You may not be fully ready to go like full on, a hibernation mode, sweatpants, hood up, right? Like I don't want to see anybody for 3 months. Maybe you're not there yet, right? I'm not, but I'm feeling that that's where I'm headed. And so I can feel like, hey, I just need a little bit more sleep. I need a nap today. I need to take it slower today. I need to be a little bit kinder to my body. I don't want to do such a hard workout today. I want to just take it slow. These are the things I want you to be aware of and allow for yourself. We can be so hard on ourselves, especially when we feel like we're losing energy or motivation because there's such a push for us to go, go, go all the time. A lot of demands on us, right? And so it feels like we're failing if we're not meeting those demands. But it's absolutely okay to take a moment for yourself, to take a breather, to relax, to take a nap, to prioritize rest, especially in this moment. Don't be hard on yourself because you're not at peak performance. It's a natural ebb and flow of the season. This is a lesson that I've learned over many, many years. It's something that I'm like reminding myself right now. Make sure you prioritize yourself, your health, your rest, nourish yourself inside and out. Make sure that you take time for self-care because we are, yeah, definitely in the height of busy season. It can take a toll on us, but if we take a moment to rejuvenate and to breathe, we can get through it with so much more grace. So now I'm curious to hear what your favorites are from this month and spooky season. Let me know in the comments. And I'm curious, like, what did you do to celebrate spooky season? I am so behind on my horror movie, like, watching. I'm going to get caught up really, really soon, though. And if you love the video, please, I would be so honored if you would hit subscribe. If you haven't already, I do release a lot of new skincare content throughout the week. I do videos, I do shorts. I also have a skincare video podcast as well, so turn on notifications so you're never out of the loop. I hope you are healthy, happy, and safe wherever you are in the world. It is tough times out there right now. There is a lot going on. It's heavy times. You know, it really is. And so I am wishing that you are healthy, that you're happy, that you're safe, that your family, your friends are as well. It's hard times, and I really hope that you're taking care of yourself. I love you. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see you soon.